Dear comrade, the attractiveness of Nigeria is a collective responsibility and an obligation for the present administration to build a conducive, safe, and competitive environment. Nigeria, as a great nation, needs to work towards the protection of its citizens from being vulnerable to oppression and exploitation. If Nigerian children are exploited for selfish ends, in being employed for cheap labor, such as being house helps, outsiders will condemn our actions. They will question our credibility as the giant of Africa. It was foreseen in 1996 when the author of this book visited Katsina to see the then military administrator, Colonel Joseph Akagaga. When he left Lagos with Cabo Airline to Kano, it was a funny journey because there were cockroaches in the plane, and the noise from the engine made his journey memorable. However, nothing that he had ever seen before that day could be compared to what he saw at the Katsina Motor Park. He was confronted with a multitude of children between the ages of 5 and 10 holding empty plates, begging for food. They were about 100 in number when they were supposed to be in school. They were all males. He was shocked to the marrow.
Out of curiosity, he asked someone at the motor park, "Who are these children?" And the reply was, "They are Almajeris."
Where are their parents? What offense have all these children committed to be experiencing this injustice, deprivation, want, poverty, neglect, diseases, and abuse? How can any child be left alone or abandoned on the street during school hours, roaming the street in any name? Where is the state government? It was a classic example of child abuse and child neglect, and their parents and guardians should be punished. However, the absence of national program for the protection and care for children makes any argument against children abandonment irrelevant. There has been no alternative program to assist both children and parents in the development journey for the young in our country. For instance, how can a parent who cannot read and write help his or her child with school homework or support the child's development process? Is it their fault? No. Nigeria is not a banana republic. The nation must opt for a policy shift towards a rights-based and welfare entitlement approach. Dear friends, I would like to draw from Abraham Maslow's theory of needs. Physiological needs must be achieved first before any individual can aspire to achieve other needs. Many people believe Nigeria is the last hope of Africa due to her population, her human resources, the level of education, and Nigerians' quest for learning. Many people believe if Nigeria leads well, other African nations will follow. There will be peace in Africa and around the world. The root causes of our problems can be reduced into poverty, illiteracy, leadership, tribalism, lack of a clear Nigerian vision, and adopting colonial masters' framework. Currently, in 2018, over 120 million Nigerians live on less than 200 naira a day in a country with inadequate supplies of potable water, healthcare facilities, and electricity. When I talk about welfare, I am not referring to the distribution of grinders to political party members, giving motorcycles to people, or giving rice periodically. All those mentioned items are good, but they are also very insulting and highly disgraceful. Nigeria must graduate from that and do things using a rights-based approach. We can start paying child benefit weekly or monthly to any child born in every part of the country from birth. Imagine if we are paying 10,000 naira per child per week to a family. How much money will be in circulation instead of a few people keeping cash in water tanks? We can guarantee that pupils will attend and stay in school because their direct barrier to participation in primary and secondary education would have been addressed. There will be hope, there will be peace, and the level of corruption will reduce drastically because there will be less financial pressure on both politicians and civil servants. Child protection starts with the child benefit payment. We can kickstart sophisticated governance and leadership in Nigeria by paying child benefit to every child until age 17. It must be universal and not means tested. This will help us understand and address other issues appropriately. I am aware the government wants to pay 5,000 naira to vulnerable people. Well, I can tell you that 90% of Nigerians are vulnerable. The most vulnerable people are those who sleep rough on the streets. They should get paid 80,000 naira monthly, not 5,000 naira, and be taken to centers where they can be looked after. Stage 1. Every citizen of Nigeria and non-citizens who reside in Nigeria must have an identification number, like the national insurance number in the UK. Without this number, it is nearly impossible to access education, healthcare, work, or business. We are already on course with the National Identification Number. Stage 2. We must start to identify people with criminal records across the country along with their details. There are essential jobs for which criminal records disclosure is required. Government, hospitals, universities, military, police, customs, Air Force, judiciary. This is the right time to show courage and take action for Nigerian children. It will reach everyone and everywhere in Nigeria. Let us start the change by focusing on children first, and everything else will follow. Let us come out of the shadows and create a great Nigeria. To implement this policy is not rocket science if the powers that be in Nigeria agree.